see, here's the copy of the work, but you got not the work. That's all that. How about that? Well,
Which one is the working budget?
yeah, it's number
Number
five.
5, and number 5 is working budget, okay.
Okay. That same working budget. Actually, it is in us. Today. Just a copy of their roster. Yeah.
I talked to him a while ago, but I had to make sure all the time. I got a new phone and it lost all my information on it. Still, I found it. When I thought it was 3 o'clock, I quit checking email.
Just want to let you know, it is 2 minutes till time to start, but you're already live on YouTube, just so y'all know.
I guess, Jeff, what, just push that red button now.
Yes.
Okay. If Kenneth don't show up, you'll have to call it the poll.
No, we don't have to copy. You have one? Okay, thank you.
Well, we got 2 minutes. We just gotta wait. But I can do that. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 3 o'clock. Administrative and Budget Committee and the Jail Committee of Barron County Fiscal Court will have a joint meeting on Tuesday, April 13th, 2021 at 3 p.m. at the Barron County Government Center, Fiscal Court, 117 North Public Square, Suite 3A, Glasgow, Kentucky, to consider the following agenda. So I call this meeting to order, and the second line item, I'll just turn it on to either the judge or even the jailer to talk about them line items.
That's fine. Y'all can talk. Okay. First, thank you for meeting with us today. Intercounty contracts, that's for us housing other counties.
Can you use the mic, because I can't hardly hear mine.
Yes, sir.
Running.
Intercounty contracts, a few years ago, we were at charging other counties $40 per day for housing their inmates. And then last year with COVID, we dropped it down to $34 a day. And what we're wanting to do is to go back up to $36 a day with intercounty contracts. That's for housing and capital. Right.
Is that something that requires our attention to do that, or can you just do that?
It's gonna be judge.
You know what? Oh, okay.
That's what
Well, I guess my question was, where did you, from where we dropped it down, and where did you come up with 34 versus more than that? Would be what I would be
Well, we're-
asking.
we were at 40, and since COVID hit. We're trying to work with everybody, we went down to 34. And initially, we just want to go down to 36. And we ended up doing the 34, so we were just going to bring it back to 36 for these other counties.
When you say working with COVID, I mean, everybody's pretty well got, I guess, payback or whatever from the state. I mean, we can't afford to keep cutting. I'm just talking.
We're not cutting, we're at $34.
Right, but you went down last year because of COVID, and you still haven't got back up to where you was, correct? Where were you before COVID?
We were at 40
And you want to go,
to 36.
you were at 40 and you're at 30. I guess I'm still confused. 40,
He went down to 34,
right?
and then wants to go back up to 36.
So what about 40? Is that not feasible?
But it's awful to those other counties, they vote on it also. They vote if they're going to house with us or not.
So you're just trying to stay competitive? Yes.
Yes,
How many other counties have?
Metcalf.
Well, if we vote to go to 40, then we, in that, yeah, they do that. Judge.
Now, I mean, they have the option to take the people somewhere else, take the language of that. I mean, it would have to be a court with reason. They restricted their fiscal force, whether or not they want to continue to enter into a contract with us.
On average, what does an hour originate derivative create? On average, then, okay, if you're 34, you're going to go 36, you're going to increase it to that, right? So, how much money derivative is that? Just this way.
I can't, I'm sorry to bother you guys, but I can't hear a thing y'all saying. Billy, can you hear them?
Not very well.
Not very well. I've understood about 2 words.
It's kind of a mumble.
The conversation is, going from $34 on the inmates to $36 to house the inmates. If you remember, we were at 40. We lowered that to 34. Aaron has proposed taking that back to 36. That has the court approved.
Not sure. So, you know, those $2 that over a year, roughly about 21,900.
See how much?
21,900
What?
a year.
Oh, you're. About what, now is in. Each one.
Yes.
Are y'all talking about out-of-county inmates?
Yes.
Tim is on the jail. That's correct. Hey, Tim, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you say that, yeah.
Hey, he was proposing a number, we were just wondering if we can't up that a little bit more. If, you know, he lowered it because of COVID, but I don't know that we need to be lowering anymore. I know we're jumping back, I'm just talking, what do you think, John? Unless you're thinking, Aaron, we're gonna just lose it.
Well, I don't believe we'll lose Monroe County. There's a possibility that we could lose Metcalf County. I'm not 100% sure on Metcalf County. And roughly Metcalf County, we would have each day about 10 that we house daily.
The judge has been on some of the Zoom meetings and our continuing ed, and some of the other guys, and, you know, all the counties that has jails is suffering, so. And some of the counties had to give up jails in the past because they just couldn't afford it, so, I mean, I just don't know, staying lower, we've got we're having trouble with the budget. bad if we go back to 40 and try to get what we can. Mark, what do you think? I mean, we gotta do something here. I mean, we gotta keep a jail going.
Yeah, what we determined is, Tim, can you hear me? Tim,
Just parts.
all right, what we have determined, for every dollar that he lowers that price, to house the inmates, that's $11,000 a year. So the $6 that he lowered that amounted to $66,000, correct? All right, he's wanting to go back and recover $2 of that, which would be $22,000. I really see no reason not to go back to 40 myself.
I was thinking the reason we lowered it was because Adair County was putting some pressure on Metcalf or something. Is that correct, Jailer?
They were at one time. Yeah,
But-
they may still, want to do that, but over the last, and that's been over a year now, how things are and with Department of Corrections with overcrowding, I don't know if the Adair County could actually hold it right now. Inside this local area.
I can't hear. I can't hear anything, but I'm saying if we're gonna not make any money, I'd soon go back up and lose their business as lose money on the deal, that's for sure.
I mean, I'm
Fine
just,
with that, Matt.
Aaron, it's,
That's even you.
you know the field out there you know what the jails are doing, if they're overrunning. We don't know that. We're just looking at the dollars here, trying to come back with some dollars. If we're gonna keep our, jail in the budget, getting back to where it needs to be.
And that kind of goes into our next, item of, business too, which would be federal inmates.
I guess
One of these counties would so choose not to, participate in a contract with us, housing their inmates in Barron County. There's other ways to do it towards it. So $40, I'm fine with it. That's where we were at, we went down, kind of work with other counties.
Anything that has went down as far as materials or anything, I haven't in my business. So I don't have to do anything but, to start pumping. So I don't know how we cannot go back to 40, because this is just a business, running just like a business, even though it's a jail, but it's a business, and we can't stay low, because unless the state's aiming to give some money that I don't know of.
I'm right there with you in that one thing.
So I make a motion that we raise it to $40.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Everyone that's voting yes, I guess I'm voting yes. Tim? Tim, what are you voting?
Well, I'm gonna abstain because I cannot hear the conversation.
We're voting for $40. I need a yes or a no. Billy, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes or no?
I'm gonna vote for yes.
Okay, so if you have enough yeses, that's great, because I didn't hear the whole conversation. I don't feel comfortable voting.
All right, well, we got it, the majority anyway, so that carries $40 is what we're gonna present to the court. Next Tuesday. We'll go down to the federal, Jailer, if you wanna talk about that.
Federal inmates, I met with the U.S. Marshal here recently, we met with him. He's been wanting to house inmates at Barron County Detention Center right now. The two main places they house at, I think Grayson County and Warren County, and a little bit of overflow from Grayson County and Hart County. And he presented that with us. And right now, of course, in all of our budget talks and the open talks, we've always talked about, Department of Corrections. Over the last year, they have not came out and classified inmates, to be able to work and whatnot. And they also have prisons. And whenever they do start classifying them, what they do is they pull from the county jails and they pull them back up into the prisons to get classified. I don't see them sending them back to the county jails. If anything, they may possibly keep them there. Some of them, not all, but some of them may stay there. So that's going to open up room for the federal inmates. And on the federal inmates, basically got to fill out forms and stuff, and it's kind of like these inter-county contracts, we kind of negotiate with them about how much to house them for, also negotiate with them, like they need transportation for how much they cost, mileage will always be the same, government rate, but how much it costs for the deputies to transport and everything like that. So nothing to really vote on there, but that's something that we're looking at is housing the federal inmates, and I just want to make the court aware of that. I'm sorry, you don't need to vote house federal inmates.
Do we not have any federal inmates?
No, we've never housed. Every now and then we may have one that had local charges and they're in our jail, but then once those local charges are off, they may be there for a little bit and us house them for
Do
federal.
you know if the sister counties have federal inmates?
The only ones around us, like I said, Warren County, Grayson, and Hart. And Hart just started doing kind of overflow with Grayson.
They haven't heard any negative on that. And you're comfortable with it if it's gotta be a vote, Mark?
Well, what charge for the amount of money that we could charge the house?
We're looking at, we haven't really seen out the number, but at least 50, give or take a little bit.
So I'm assuming you're hearing that number. Are you hearing that number from the other counties?
Yeah, other counties that, and, the only other catch with like federal inmates, like one of them has to go to the hospital, they pay us, to transport to the hospital, but instead of it just being one deputy, they require 2 deputies. So if they had court per se, we'll just say down in Bowling Green Federal Courthouse, we have to have 2 deputies transport it, but they also reimburse everything on that. We just got to turn in our, basically our invoice to them and they get back to us.
So I guess the question is, we need to see if that has to be voted in physical court, and I don't know that answer. Deal with that. Okay. We can have that answer by physical court. The next physical court meeting will go on down the line out of court unless you want to talk more on. We'll just wait and see what happens. Okay.
Next one, state highway departments, state inmates. Recently I got a call from the state highway department saying, of course, they shut down everything due to COVID. And we got a phone call from them saying, hey, we need your plan, like how our county road crews are going out right now. They said, we need your plan because we're thinking about getting these back up and running for the state highway, state roads. I said, okay, it sounds good. We emailed the plan. Next morning, I got a phone call saying, yeah, I think they're going to be pretty, quickly forward on this. 2 hours later, they said, your plan's been approved.
Yeah.
So we're good on that. We're looking at next Monday getting at least one road crew out for the state highway and looking at a second one. Once again, we're just running into some issues with inmates that can actually go outside to work. But we've been in contact with other jails nonstop since then. But we also have to seek approval from the DOC to allow them to trade 1-for-1 with us, with those inmates.
Well, I know the public is ready.
Yes,
So
we've claimed already.
And it's not your all's fault, your hands have been tied, but we got a lot of trash, and once it's mowing, I know we started in the county, the state hasn't started, it's really gonna get bad, so it's gonna swing it everywhere, so hopefully you got a plan aggressively if the weather's permitted.
We just send them out to state highway and they decide where they go to state highway department.
They disperse them.
Yes, for the state roads, they disperse them. Question of like, who you call up there, I'm sure they already have a list. And that's all I got.
All right, we'll go down the line, item 5, medical contracts.
Medical contract. We've had Southern Health Partners, I need you a package to them once they're here. And we also looked at Western Kentucky Medical. And from there, so we have 2 proposals basically from Southern Health Partners and also Western Kentucky. And I've had my ups and downs with Southern Health Partners and their services. And we were looking at Western Kentucky at the first tab there is their proposal. their all inclusive bid is 202,000, which is lower than what we had from Southern Health Partners. And initially, Western Kentucky gave us those numbers. They gave us what their services would be. We contacted Southern Health Partners, talk with them and see what they would do. They kind of matched the services, but their price was still $204,500. So they're still higher than Western Kentucky.
Number again for Western Kentucky.
202,000, sir.
And their coverage is at least the same or more in some areas.
Oh, yes, initially, from what we did have, it was extremely better. And then once we contacted Southern Health Partners, see what they do, they did match them eventually. And I'd be willing to try new companies, and I've been looking for one since I've been
When does the contract expire with Southern Hills?
there. Wow.
So you're wanting to go with your proposal of the 202.
Yes, sir.
Approve that.
Okay, full court.
I'm probably gonna give the county attorney this. Is there another that you can get another quote from in case you have to have one?
They're out of state.
Yeah, with this large of a number, we may have to get another quote. I don't know.
Are you saying the 204 is gonna stay? Is that not a quote? The other company's 204,
That's,
where you're at now?
yeah, that's going down from where they were.
Okay, the
So
204.
at Southern Health Partners, they came down to 204, and then Western Kentucky, I was very impressed with their 202.
Turn it over to the county attorney.
Yeah.
So
The
we'll
next
go-
thing, next thing we had was a Securus contract, meaning Securus, they're the ones that provide all of our video communication, telephone, and things like that, with kiosks. And one of the things that, right now, we're just having a meeting with them, if we can renegotiate some of the things on our contract. I just don't believe that we're getting the good deal. I really don't think we're getting the good deal. We got a meeting with them, first week of May, and I just want to let you all know that. So they don't have anything on that at this time.
Okay.
This meeting with them.
Well, let us know if we're not getting a good deal.
Next is commissary.
You just want to know the future of the commissary.
Future, right now, I'd like to go with Lester with, Kellwell.
We'll be making 100% profit on that.
45, 50, where we work for. We'll be staying where we're at right now with commissary.
And currently commissary, you have a person that goes out by local things.
They buy local, they order stuff.
And when we go with Kelwell, that won't happen.
I'm not sure exactly where they buy all their stuff from. They're based out of,
I'm not originally on the jail committee that really understands exactly how all this runs, commissary, companies. I don't understand, I guess, in business, if I had a business, why I'm not getting 100%, why I gotta have somebody rush. You gotta explain that a little bit more, I guess, to me and Bart.
basically, we're gonna have purchasing it, and then basically, we're gonna have purchasing of it. And then we're reselling it to the inmates at the jail. And making a profit off of that, we're compensating.
What's the market?
We're looking at, we profit about 50%.
So that, right, 50% markup. So Ken, well,
45%. And what happens is Kello, which we order, the inmates can order directly from their cells. It takes us out of it completely. They order from their cells. It goes directly to their headquarters. They package it up. They ship it to us twice a week. The only thing we have to do is whenever the deputies are going around doing their hourly cell checks, deliver the commissary to them while they're in the cells. They package it up individually for each cell themselves.
Can you give me an example, just what's an order?
An
What's a
order,
traditional order?
an order could be anything from honey buns, ramen noodles, pens, paper, stamps, calling cards. I mean, they can buy tuna fish on there, cheese whiz type stuff.
Do you know, does our county use this company?
No, our county uses a different commissary company, but they do outsource.
They do.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, I'm new at this, you know, I don't understand all that.
so is there a difference of the outsources versus continuing to do it? For so many hours that we're spending buying that, purchasing that,
Oh, yes.
and does that require a person to do that?
Yes.
Okay, what happens to that person and with the outsource?
Be a deputy. Be a deputy at the jail. We have a position open for a medical position.
For me, a little bit of, so what's roughly a monthly average on, you know, probably there.
It can vary. I mean, of
I
course.
know, but what you saying in your terms, you know, what do you?
Annually, we're looking at 100,000. Monthly, it can all vary. I mean, you know, last couple of months it went up a little bit. You know, all the stimulus checks coming in and stuff. More monthly.
So let's just say if it's 100,000, we're giving it 50,000 to do it. It's a shame.
No. That's our profit still. We set the prices still. We're just not the ones going out and shopping or anything like that.
But you
They
still
already
own that company. What's the company getting?
We're using that.
5%.
But we still have to use that same money to go out and purchase more stuff. So the profit is still going to be the same. We're just not putting all the man hours and all the time.
This company's gonna do this for 5%.
So 100,000 is 5,000.
So we're gonna retain 95%.
Right now, what we're doing is about 50%. So they contracted with us for 45%. But we still set those prices and then 5%, we're not paying deputy salary, we don't have to man out. We're not taking the reporting for us and everything.
Could everyone speaking, please speak into a microphone? We cannot hear anything.
Can't hear anything. I can't.
Talk about commissary.
So, example, this year, when, treasurer's here, what's roughly we paid this company so far in our term that we're in right now?
We have to pay on a term, we can make a house.
You're,
And that's what we're trying to get away from.
I think I'd like to see a proposal that if it's on 5% of this, that's awfully low. If you do just for 5%, I think I would like to have some type of proposal from Kel with, who would be the salesperson, their contact salesperson.
Nick Wallace.
And I'll share this with the court. I've got a little, trying to do a little educational Kelwell's been under investigation for some wrongdoings with employees. I'm sure this Ken has a little knowledge of this because one of them is essentially county deputy. And I think until the county attorney clears this, I don't know that I would be willing to go with Kelwell at this time. So, it was big right. She has knowledge of it, so once we get that cleared with the county attorney, I still like to have some type of, proposal. That they will, and then we'll retain the rest of it, because when we look at the numbers of what we're paying out of that commissary, medical bills, salaries, just want to make sure there's still enough money that, you know, if they don't do it 5%, or they say, well, we're gonna have to have more, but we're not coming back to the general fund and saying, well, we've got to have extra to pay because we've got to pay this company yet. But I do know Kilwell is under investigation, so and I'm quite confident it's not over. So
Do you know of any other company there?
There is no.
Do you know if, do you know the company that, just say Hart County uses?
They use tag, but I wouldn't be 100%. I don't want to speak.
Or do you know of another jail that's using another company?
Yes.
Do you have a problem going and finding some more
I
information?
can walk them by their phone.
Judge, I do want to just clarify, the 5% difference from what we're making now. So infants will total is a 55% to them, 45 to us over the entire sale. Not just-
Well, that's what I'm saying, that's what I asked earlier.
It's a 55%.
Okay.
And they'll get 55%, we'll get 45% of the sale.
okay, well, I was speaking off of what Jeff had
Yeah,
asked.
I mean,
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. I
Yeah,
didn't want to
because
get
you
this
said 5%,
confusion.
I was telling you in my
5%
business, I
difference
want
from what-
100%. I want 100%. If it was my business, I would figure out how I'm gonna do it in-house. This is just me.
And we
If
have
you
to do
can't,
it
right.
in-house, but the cost of it, deputies and man hours and everything else, taking that workload off for it to be given up. So, to do other
But-
things.
When you're looking, I mean, you're looking at I'm looking at $50,000 in the year, is what I'm looking at. That can pay. You know, I'm just looking, you know, I've got people working. That's why when we were dealing with talking in the last few years with my new term on the mowing, you know, we were contracting it out, and I'm thinking, we got people in town, why aren't we, you know, that's just an example. We got the money, we got the budget, we got that. I'm just, like I said, I'm not head of the jail, I'm just looking at numbers, and that's what I look at. And so, like I said, Kenneth's not here, he's the chairman of, you know, that all been talked about, I thought, in the jail committee anyway, but anyway, it's part of the budget too, but I'm not wanting to try to run the jail by no means, I'm just looking at numbers. Me and Mark and Billy are on this committee, just looking at numbers, we look at numbers on, it's not just you all. Everybody else comes and we talk numbers, we're not, you know, so that's, unfortunately, we have to make some tough decisions in what we do. But we're for you, but I'm just saying, we're looking at 50,000, not 5,000 or 45,000. That's just a lot of money when we're struggling in budget, and I'm just talking, so I think we gotta come up with some kind of better plan, or some other company will not be 50% or 45, that's my opinion. Mark, what do you think?
That's exactly where I'm at too. Who currently does take care of the commissary? We. You do.
Like
No,
we
the
deputy
deputy
now,
does,
Yes.
the deputy going to start.
What other duties does she have besides this?
Commissary.
So in a sense, how much money do you think we would be giving them?
Very good. Very good. Right now, we're making about 50% profit, we're going down to 45% profit on the commissary.
I don't, just, Judge, what, I mean, this is a line item commissary, we're just talking, I don't know. Ken is not, he's the chairman of the jail committee, I don't know where to go with this.
Well, I just want to know the future of it because, when we do this budget, we rely on the commissary to pay salaries, medical bills. Such as that, I just want to make sure it's going to be there when we do this budget. If it was to go away, you know, general fund's going to have to pick up the slack.
It's still gonna be there, the funds are still gonna be there and everything like that. The good thing about outsourcing it is that they have more of a variety to buy from. We're very limited from our storage area, the commissary offices. It's very small. There's actually more of a variety that they can buy from.
Well, as we look at each department, we're limited of where we can actually make money without having to raise taxes. There's only so much areas that we can possibly make some money in the departments. This looks like to me is a potential area that we can actually make money. There's some departments we can't make any money, so that's what we're just looking at. And I think maybe that's what the judge is thinking too, where if we can make the money to offset some of the other line items or potential.
Well, I guess one of the things that, I mean, you guys got a markup on your stuff. So what's one of your maximum markups that you could have an item?
It usually like, we even do something like wrong, or markup on it, 50% markup.
What? Dollar?
Yeah.
Would that same market still be there? Yeah, so
Yes, we set the prices with something to be higher.
well, we don't set the price on paper.
That we won't do that, but we want to set the price at itself.
Entry prices with that. They're having to pay more for that. Your residents may not be willing to pay the price. Correct?
Yeah.
I guess where we're at, we just want to make sure that's where we can, and you can make money in your jail. I mean, with, along with some other stuff that can help situations that you get into on some of the inmates that you don't make any money. And we understand that. I understand. I hear it from all the other counties, you've got so many that you're not gonna be able to make any money on. So.
I just remember when I first come in as judge, that pallets of Roman noodles was bought for like $1 a piece. They were sold for like $5 a piece or $6. It was way over the dollar. So I just know there's money there that can be made. 'Cause commissaries, for what I know, are known as a slush fund for some jails. So, well, there's a lot of money in the commissary, so I guess in that proposal, I wouldn't mind seeing a list of what you all have in your markups versus what Kelwell.
Whenever I got this, agenda, commissary or something, I didn't put on there, so I didn't know exactly what that was going to be about.
Yeah, it's just basically to make sure it's gonna be there.
And I could have brought all, and I could have brought all those numbers with us. I have no idea what that is or the body scan. That's why
How this that is.
that's why I'm kind of in the dark on it.
Yeah, my main question is make sure that the commissary money is gonna be there, that we're not gonna come back to the general fund and ask for extra money because we're outsourcing the commissary supposedly with Kelwell. or it's what you guys want to do. I'm just protecting the general fund. That's what I'm trying to do, to make sure that money's gonna be there, so.
Kind of the way I look, I'm thinking, we have Jackie Brown Park. It would be like to me, if we're running that in-house, Maxie, he's organizing that, it would be like us subbing that out and getting half of that, and that's where we can make just a little bit of money on that. It's kind of the same, I understand your style, but as far as in a business standpoint, I'm just telling you, that's a lot of money that I would be trying to figure out some way or another. If you could. I mean, that's just me, and I'm thinking for myself as a business, I would have to give that money. If I could possibly do it in-house and manage it. I mean, it's just all got to do with in management. If you make stuff work, if you want to make more money in any kind of business, it's just how I do it. So I mean, I don't know if there's any way that it can be done and not even have to go to a source, but that's.
Part-time person, no concept.
When she first gets here in the morning, she slips right now, and they say can't write everything. She pulled all the slips and she got each one of those into the computer. And then between her and the workers, they'll pull all that stuff off and get all the orders ready, prepare it for them. It's kind of looks like at Walmart, how somebody can shop for you.
Of course, I do understand you got a lot of numbers. We're not talking about 15 people here. It's, I'm sure, overwhelming. And I don't want to try to be thinking that I can run the jail for numbers. I'm just looking at it anyway. So,
I guess my thoughts on this. If the business you're in, running the jail, the revenue streams are money. We have discussed that many times. This is one of your most profitable revenue streams. I think from a business standpoint, I'm really studying that before I ask. But at the same time, sure that
all right, let's just go on down the line. We're talking on number 7, body scanner usage.
Yeah, I have a question on that. I know we paid it off. That's good. Are we still using that?
Yes.
On every inmate?
All every,
Okay, why are we not on every inmate?
well, if somebody's coming in and if they're gonna go to general population, they put their charges and whatnot, they'll get scanned. But if it's somebody that, say they just get picked up for shoplifting, they come in, they know, once they speak pre-trial, they're gonna get them out, they're not ranked through that. They're just gonna enter into general population.
is it very time consuming to do that?
They'll heating up, because when you shut it off, and you gotta turn it back on between each one's coming through, it does take a little bit of time, but, we'll actually activate.
I think that's how I remember. Is it located right before you get to Sally Port?
Yeah, it's right in your own Sally Port.
Okay, yeah.
And the reason why I ask this is because if we have it and we're not scanning every inmate and an inmate comes in with some type of weapon and disables our deputies, and then we have a lawsuit if we didn't scan that inmate. So, I'm just kind of wondering because
That could work both ways, you can scan an inmate and say they swallowed something that's not protected, and then it died, and then it's the exact same thing, when you scan them, you get identified. So I mean, it's, half of those one way, it's a win-lose type thing, but they can be used either way.
and I just think that, with looking at the liability of the county, that every one of them needs to be scanned because the one that you miss, and then the deputy gets hurt.
Well, that's the thing with the deputies, they definitely, wall, checking from head to toe.
But that body scanner pretty much shows everything.
Just certainly,
Only if it's something extremely dense. I mean, if you have something, like, we'll just use drugs, for example, if you have methamphetamine, the guys who use them, they're very creative on the ways that they do it. They may put it, in their waistband, make it look like a heavy seam inside of a pair of keys, and it's not going to detect it. If you're talking about something like something as large as a pistol or something, yeah, it's gonna detect that large, dense metal item. A lot of the drugs and stuff, you gotta know exactly what you're looking for with it. You're just looking at the body scanner. Search, there's more chance of finding it that way through the body scanner. So, there's a lot of these guys, I mean, you put it in the sole of the shoes. Have sole.
this reminds me of my brother, started doing about a month or month and a half, and his term completed. So they put into his form, picking up prisoners, array walks, and transporting AWOL. And so one time he was transporting AWOL, we got on the plane, takes him out, frisks him out, the whole 9 yards. About halfway through the flight, we checked him again. So I think safety is the key factor here, but once again, I
want to express to you all the liability of the county. I mean, again, if we have it, it needs to be used. Just takes that one time. And I can't see it being an infringement on anybody's rights because I don't know whose rights they have. I like to see that on paper. I'd like to see the copy.
There's actually a KRS.
I want to see it.
It
I want to see it.
it stipulates or we specify.
that we can't scan every single person that comes into the building unless there is probable cause or extenuating circumstances to the situation. So somebody like Jailer had mentioned, somebody just comes in, first time arrest on shoplifting charges. Isn't showing any signs of ingesting anything, isn't showing any signs of being fidgety or something, and they're not going to go into the general population. By law, we are legally not allowed to search them with the body scanner or conduct a strip search. Now, if they give us probable cause, then we can take it that step further. But if they're just in for, a minor charge, they're going to turn around and get back out before going into the general population, we are not permitted to.
But you get that to me, I'm gonna let Catherine look over that. And hey, if it's the law, it's just the law. But, then, of course, obviously, the strip search, you just gotta do the same, you don't usually do that. And so,
It falls in the same, lines with body scanner.
yeah,
So it's under that same.
Have you had any have you heard of any incident, Judge? I mean, it seems like it's.
I've got some complaints. I sure have. I'm just concerned about our employees. It really concerns me about the employees. Yeah. And I'm concerned about all employees. So I just think it's a tool we have to use. But it's not used on every one of them. So it's probably not used.
With just explanation.
But it's not used on every inmate.
That's correct.
We're gonna turn that over to Catherine on line item 8, and if you would get whatever KRS to us, and we'll do that. We're going down to 2021, 22. General budget, and end here on our discussion today. You want to talk, Aaron, on how you're feeling about the new budget?
discuss, you know, where we're at, and, you know, just trying to work together, working through this budget, schedules and everything else. It's kind of all got combined at 3 o'clock with the jail committee meeting. So with this,
But you all been together besides this morning several times, correct? On the jail? Right,
yeah,
okay.
That. And we're looking at the proposed deal for, I guess, number 5. That's right there.
That's what I've got, or each one of us. That we presented to the court in the first reading.
And looking at it, to go over everything, of course, we added back into this one that we proposed as the second tab in the package I gave you. Second tab, okay.
Well, yeah, I was looking at this, let's go with this, line items, the current, 566,000. Y'all proposing to lower that, right, to 940,500?
Yes, that's correct. Also added back on the receipt side to the reimbursements line item. That was the state highway department contracts. On there last year, of course, they said 100,000, and of course, brokers went out to be paid back on. So we made that to 75,000.
Where is that?
It's on the receipt side. If you go down where it says reimbursements,
What we don't have,
I'm showing zero.
is that which one are you looking at?
this is all for correction side.
Yeah.
So it was just we're wanting to be earlier in the week before, yeah, just to talk about.
Now break that down a little bit, that 100,000.
Initially, like last year on the budget, we had $100,000 in there for reimbursements. That's where the state highway department sends us a check for everybody going out and working, making lunches and whatnot on that. And we didn't have that, so we definitely do not need that line item, this past budget at all.
I've got the receipt side of things. Which line item is that, 341?
34727.
Reimbursements. Current was 100,000, and that's what we put in the budget. I remember we amended the budget, put it in there, and of course, I guess with the COVID situation, we're going to look trash. Now, you're more than that, you say 5,000. Well, yes, next year's budget.
But basically, with the brokers going out, contract, you're looking at $40,000 per each one, but they don't go out all the time. They may call us and say, we don't need them today, it's heavy storms all day. So they may not do that. Of course, VOC standards still stick, like sometimes it was just a rainy day, they may have them come out and do things in the shop for them, like cleaning purposes and things like that. But now, and they do have our plan with the state inmates, and Department of Corrections still will not allow state inmates still in the. So that's something that, we're just they keep the state inmates.
This is just for state.
Yeah, that's just for state.
Just for state.
So line item 34727.
Yes. Receipt side. I guess what I'm looking at is, it almost seems, I'm going back to the appropriation side, now the expense side, the line, like the deputies, went down 25,500. That's, the difference is showing as a positive. Yes, it is.
It's just the way the spreadsheet laid out. I can change that spreadsheet why.
Well, is your, 25,114 correct? Given that these are reversed,
That would actually be a positive.
So that's a positive, not a negative.
right?
What you guys. 133.
Does that make sense? I mean,
Yeah.
okay. Because I looked at, what's a great improvement?
And I didn't even pay much attention to that.
Okay.
So if that's for the state, or the, if that's for the state, what about the county?
That's us with the deputies. We can pay them or pay them out of the commissary by taking the state deputies out.
What was that extra last year that we put in there? The county road.
Well, there was 600,000 we put in.
That wasn't for that, for the state. The state pays that from the contract.
Well, we're, I hope I remember correctly, right, right before the final reading, we amended the budget.
Yes, I don't want to.
We discussed it back and forth, and a lot of that conversation was the trash bill.
Yes.
And we asked you, you said, well, that's like 75,000, but we agreed to increase it by 150,000. For the,
Take up
there.
Yes.
And so you're telling me that 150,000 was for state trash pickup or county trash pickup? Okay.
When that additional money was added, it was for the county road deputies at the end of last budget. That is worked into the deputy salary for this budget, as well as the reimbursements that we get from the state highway department for those two state deputies, or our deputies, that they reimburse us, and those state names that will just clean the state road.
So, back to the judge's question, mine now. So, I deal with, I chair the management solid waste committee. And that's a large item right now in this stretch. I understand. So, is there any money in your budget that's accounted for the trash pickup for the county?
Salary. That's what that.
And how much would that amount to?
The deputy salary,
Yeah, 2 deputy salaries.
the deputy salary, one is 33,280. Other one is 29,120. That's their base salary.
Who wrote with that? 2,000.
And then with that, that's
So that reflects in the deputies.
Yes.
But we took a decrease in the deputies, right?
Yes.
Of 25.5 overall, what we had 966.
So in the budget that we submitted to the court for reading, number 5, we had the new budget as 892,770. So basically you guys increased that budget. Am I correct? To 940,500. And number 5, the budget that we submitted to the court for first reading was
That's correct.
892,770.
Right.
So you guys have now proposed to move that up to $940,500.
Yes. What we're.
I just want to make sure that's what we're doing. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
That makes up like $65, yeah, increase in. If you're in at 940 now, on your amendment here, and we're running from 892 to 900,000, before, I think 40,000 more.
Have to hire additional deputies for that state road crew. You have enough people to go out and actually work those roads. They have to have deputies with them. So that's automatically gonna have to reflect on the deputy end, but it's being on the reimbursement end to offset that. You gotta have those help go out and work the roads. You gotta have enough people to pay them. So that's why this
I totally
number
understand, you
has
have to have a deputy there, yes.
that's why that number increased.
I guess my question, if you all met prior, I mean, did this just come about? Then
They called us in one day, we submitted our plan to them. 2 hours the next day, after talking to them, it was approved, and they want us out there, and we're trying to get it out there as quickly as possible to get roads clean.
But you didn't know 2 months ago that you were going to take over.
So,
I mean, I would have thought
I got a phone,
eventually going to be opened up.
I got a phone call and saying that, they're looking at moving forward with this pretty quickly at 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. They said you're approved.
Well, and I totally know what you're telling. The last minute conversation here. But I understand what Deb's saying too. So that's where the planning comes in. You know, you knew the trash pickup was going to happen again.
right, but
Right.
the state highway department's funding got cut in Frankfurt, so we didn't anticipate that money coming back. I mean, we have no control over Frankfurt's gonna put that money, it's statewide, it's not just something, specific to Berry County. When they was cut all that funding, there was no anticipation or anything of when or if that would ever come back.
But I guess to my point, that we respect. We knew that the fresh people were coming back. And so there had to be some planning there, some foresight. Rather than just the last minute conversation. In other words, we had already given some thought to how we were going to handle it when we got that phone call that the trash pickup was going to be reinstated.
Yes.
You understand?
But
Does that make sense?
yes, and whenever I talk to state highway department, I call them, hey, is there any time to come back? We have no word. We don't see you coming back. We don't see you coming back. But one day they requested our plan, and it was just like, wow, that happened out of nowhere.
I totally understand it, and I totally get that. But there has to be planning and thought given these things, knowing that that's going to happen, just a matter of when. Trash pickup. Great. I agree, yeah.
So let's go to the end total, what you got totaled up. Let's just look at that end total. Here's what we presented before. 2847, 617. Let's just, we're on your paper. What's your final total? What you're coming back after, I don't know how many times y'all met that you're going. Because we've done had one reading with this before. It's just
Acknowledgement.
well, yes, with what we had to do by law. We were at 2847. Where are you all at on this? The new conversation, wherever, I know we can look at line item by line, where's the bottom dollar versus the 2847 that we We presented that to the state.
We'd be at 2,869,250.
So, here,
22,133. I'm sorry. That's from the last year.
roughly,
So that's an increase of what we had.
Judge, we heard from the state on the proposed. Last year, we had to come back and cut stuff. We're not even there.
No, we're not there.
How quickly does that happen?
That's after first read.
Okay. So we don't know yet that even this one that we created is even going to.
So if we move inmates to $40 and we lose those two counties, we lose that revenue. What's that like?
That's what we're looking at federal.
Think we can make enough to compensate losing those two counties possibly?
Yes, I don't believe we're looking at their, speaking of their jailer. They like doing business with us, their boss, he said, we spoke to that anyone we put it down, and they said, we could find safe for them after it was all said and done. But they're very good to work with, the bosses, always in conversations.
Also, and Jenny and I, we discussed this, y'all know line item 34563. On the inmates, obviously, this is something that hasn't been tracked. in My opinion. And Jenny worked at the formula, and I'll let her explain her formula. Because in that proposal, the formula is a little bit, it's a little bit higher than what she's come up with. So, Jenny, if you want, county inmates.
Well, when I did my original numbers, I asked, for the jail to send me a, report that listed their inmates for the previous fiscal year versus this fiscal year, because this one was kind of different, and I know that their numbers were lower. So giving me those numbers from the previous fiscal year, I did an average of total days that the inmates were there versus how many inmates were there, to get a working number on being able to get a daily cost for us to house inmates. So I did that for the previous fiscal year, which was kind of our normal year, and then I did the same thing for this year, which was a not. And so with those 2 years, I took them and added them together and divided by 2 to get a cost of $775,000 for us as fiscal court for Barron County to pay for housing our inmates. In the past, that line item was not part of the budget. And so at the end of the year, it showed us giving the jail money, and we didn't really know what we were giving them the money for. So it kind of reflected bad on the jail for, getting extra money. So line item in there, I thought was important to have, because we are supposed to pay for our inmates. And so putting that number in there makes the bottom line at the end of the year more accurate, I feel.
You all have proposed a much larger number, so how did you all get to your numbers? Jenny put 775, currently you all are at 857, 715.
If you look at the paperwork we gave you, We had Beth do the exact same thing that Jenny did, but over a 5-year span. She took Jenny's exact same formulas and everything, and just took the average of 5 years as opposed to just 2. I think those reports and everything in there for each year.
Well, actually, on the, I think it's what you're referring to, that, when you look down at it, it actually says 892, 764. What you were looking at, it's 857, 715. Am I looking at something wrong?
I took Jenny's number and Beth's number and then divided them
Oh,
by
then
2.
there, okay.
Yeah, and then I averaged those as well, so have one that has to be in between.
Shouldn't your 5 years cover my 2 years? So why would you add my 2 years to your 5 years?
I think it's small. Got a parallel.
That makes sense.
And Jenny, that's something we can absolutely sit down and discuss further, like, I was hoping we could meet before. If I had this paperwork for you, I could get up there to you. Stuff, yes, it would have captured it, so divided again should not have been accurate, that number should have been high. It should have been the 892.
I still don't understand.
The figure that you get were worked into the number. With the bottom of that sheet. Right, so this was
Right, I see that, but I'm still confused as to why you would add my
No, I'm
number and
saying
your
you're
number
correct.
together.
I'm saying you're correct, I shouldn't have added that in there.
But,
It should have just been
so
the
your number,
892.
your number that you're proposing, my question is, I just want to make sure I'm correct. Your number that you're proposing that's on the budget that is incorrect is adding ours together and dividing. Is that what you're saying? Well, just for the record, I mean, you guys can make whatever decision you want as a court, but I stand by my numbers that I came up with.
Billy, are you hearing all this? You're on the budget committee too.
Can't make nothing out of it much.
From where we, the judge and Jenny, all met, put stuff together, basically, whatever the line items look like, a little different, but bottom line, it's like a $22,000 increase is what basically we're looking at versus, and we can fish out the line items, but we're basically looking at a $22,000 increase, is my mind is saying. Or we're sleeping it just exactly like Jenny had drawn it up.
I think you all have raises here too, is that correct? Here. And we've never done cost of living raises, yeah, 2% or.
Billy Mark, and Tim Coomer, I think he's on the jail committee. Who else is on the jail committee? I know Tim,
Trent's there. Trent's not there, but he's on it.
Trent, I haven't heard him.
I had to.
Okay, well, if two committees are together, we got two that's not on, I guess we're still.
Kenneth,
Mark, just me, you and Billy is on the administrative, and we only got one on the budget, or on the jail committee, unfortunately. So, what happened there, but, for right now, as far as what I'm looking at, and with the Jenny and the judge, of course, they had met earlier with Aaron 2 or 3 times, I'm still confident in, what Jenny presented to us. The court looked at, like, court meeting, feel and confident in them numbers and sticking with that. And that's just my opinion. I want to hear from Billy and Mark and Tim, because I think we need to all be heard.
Go ahead, Bill.
Billy, what do you
Rod,
think?
are you saying that, Jeff, are you saying that his budget shows 22,000 more than what we got, than we brought up?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, and I'm asking what I'm saying, Jeff Botts' opinion right now is to leaving it the way Jenny has presented to the courts, done looked at it, and that's just what I'm looking at right now. As far as me talking, I want to hear from you, and I want to hear from Tim Coomer and Mark Bowman.
I'll go along with you on that. What we had the first figures.
Mark?
Well, I mean, looking at the two, I mean, it's not a tremendous amount of difference, 22,000. So I think either way we go with this would be bad, but I would be for saying the 2847 number. The less 22,000 decrease. And I would think with some minor adjustments that General Bennett and his staff could adjust that to come to that point. I mean, we're only talking 22,000 or so.
Tim Coomer?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
What I can just hear parts and pieces, but just tell me if this is right, if I understand right, that the difference is, what they're saying, they're gonna have more inmates than what Jenny figured the first time. Is that correct?
I don't know what you're saying. It's figured on, they calculated 5 years versus my calculating 2 years.
I can't hear.
Tim, basically, we're looking at 22,000 difference. Are you wanting to go up $22,000, or you want to leave it like Jenny has presented and the court's already seen it?
I'm trying to listen on my phone and talk to the computer, and it's not working good. Let me, okay, can y'all hear me on my phone?
Yeah, I can.
Yes.
Okay. My question was, maybe I can hear better, that was the difference, the 22,000. I know Jenny, it took 1 year with the COVID, one without. Is that correct? And averaged those two. And then what they had done, they took 5 years average instead of those 2 year average to figure out how many we were paying for county inmates. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, if we budget that, whatever, how many inmates we're going to have is what that's going to have to be. Correct. I mean, we can average all we want, but if there's 100 less and we're paying $32 a day, I mean, that's going to come out of. Not me. That's gonna be budgeted, right? What I'm saying, if they're 20,000, budgeting 20,000 more for that expense, if it doesn't come, if we don't have that many inmates, is that money going to be spent for something else like salaries, or is it going to go back into the general fund? Or what will happen to that money that if they I don't know if I'm explaining myself right or not, but
It would depend, Tim, on if they're over budget or not.
okay.
What's that difference between your 775, 8? So it's 82,000. One going with this is we went ahead and put $775,000 in this budget to help this budget. And with Jenny's numbers, good year, bad year, I think it's a good calculation. But Tim, that's separate from the 22,000 increase. These are two different things we're talking about. 22,000 is with deputies. Like there was a couple more things that I have to go through here and look, but I want you to know that those are two separate things that we're talking about. What Jenny's numbers and Ms. Penn's numbers, there's a difference of 82,000, but the budget that come back is 22,000 more. That would be on the salaries and I guess some of the operations. What I want you to focus on here, we put that 775. Where is that line item? It's kind of hid. So if you just take that 775, put it down there at the very end of the budget. Very end of the budget, 775. That's been added to this budget this year. Right off the bat, 775. Okay, they come back, they want 8, plus they want 22 more, 22 more to cover deputies, and we have to go through here and see what else that's been raised and lowered. But at the end of the day, we're still asking for more money. So if another concern I have, if you're going to lower your deputy line item budget, you're going to make people's salary. Obviously, you're going to have to raise that hourly to make people's salary. So that's going to cost you more money. Then on the backside of that, they're going to be able to build comp time. So that's going to cost even more money to the county. So I'm just trying to get to June 2022 that's what I'm trying to do. Because it seems like when we get to this point of the year, we struggle to get to the end of June. So when you consider in this 940,500, is this making people's salary? And if so, there's this salary at $12 an hour, but you raise it to 14, you raise it to 15. What's that going to look like? I need to make sure that you've got enough. And two, what's a number on the deputies? How many deputies are we talking about?
they're allotted 40. So does this cover 40 deputies? Okay. So is the adjustment in there to make people hourly salary if you raise their pay? So you know how many people you want to make salary? What's that total? And what did we raise it to?
Not using mics so they can.
I'm sorry. Raise for that. Where, yes, and where were they originally? Yeah.
Originally, they're at 24,960. 2740.
So court liaison,
Yes. That's the lieutenants.
okay, so currently that is a. They already established. They not established, okay. You want to raise it to 33,280.
Three of them are on the 2740.
Yeah.
One would be staying the same at 33,280.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we'd be staying the same. Where do that now? Same with the court liaison. Staying the same.
That's the one I'm talking about. Well, I'm just trying to figure out, did you give pay increases to make people salary, or you just made them salary at $12 an hour?
No, those ones are not $12 an hour. $12 an hour, that's 24,000. That's what they went up to 27,040 with their promotion to lieutenant. Thing.
So none of these deputies, this listed deputies are salary. Proposed to be salary.
Couple of questions as far as the salaries go as well. So when we met, prior to proposing this number 5, you guys presented us with, your proposed salary rates, and you were gonna make 11 people's salary. Some of them were already salaried, but you were gonna move some. So in this number 5 proposal that we sent to the court, we gave you those salary increases for those, for the salary. One, you want to take hourly to salary. Those are in that budget.
In the current
In the
Number
current
5.
Number 5, those increases are there.
proposed,
And I'm gonna give you just an example, and I probably can't say names, so.
No.
This is an office person, they are currently making $16 an hour, so their yearly salary is $33,280. You guys proposed an increase of $34,000 to put them on salary when we did that
proposed budget.
in the proposed budget. But now in the spreadsheet that you recently gave me, the same person, you're listing salary at the $33,280. So you have taken that back she's gonna be put on salary with no increase, but yet she's gonna still have to work overtime. Is that correct?
That's what I got.
This is on 2 or 3 of them, that's that same way, because I'm just wondering why, when we already gave you the increase, why it decreased it again. I don't understand that. And I don't understand that if they're gonna be salary and working overtime, how we can do that.
We rounded up originally.
Okay, well, we gave that to you.
We gave that increase to this working proposed, but
We gave the increase because, we discussed this when we were talking about these increases, is that when you increase them, when you put somebody on salary, and they're gonna be having to work overtime, if they're already working overtime and making $16 an hour, they're not gonna wanna work overtime for free if you're gonna put them on salary at the same thing they're making. I think. So I'm just wondering, that's my question. When I look at the spreadsheet and I look at what we originally talked about, the numbers have decreased, and I don't understand that from a payroll. Like, I don't understand that.
y'all requested it, we gave it, and you took it away in your spreadsheet, so just trying to. Spreadsheet.
Do something about me on the spreadsheet, you have a total at the bottom of it. And I'll do
On the back page.
And second. Yeah, it's on the back of both pages.
Okay, I guess what I was trying to get to, talking to the deputies, is it 940,500? I was looking for a total to come back.
I can add it on there. If you look at the spreadsheet as well, we also added in 80 hours of overtime for all the non-salary deputies, because there's 10 holidays, 8 hours per holiday. So there's a very good chance they're still going to accumulate that overtime. So we wanted to make sure we adjusted in there for that. We can't control the holiday.
Why not the holiday thing that you're talking about? Because you're talking about if they work on a holiday, that they already get paid for holidays.
Take the holidays, but if they're working,
That's what
like
I'm
all
asking.
the poor deputies
Yeah.
and stuff, they're not factored in the overtime. So we factored in that overtime for the poor deputies that will have to work those holidays.
So you factored in all of
80 hours per employee.
it. That's a big jump. Because
Again,
they're
there's
all,
10 holidays.
You need 4 deputies, cover how many,
Shit, some facts to be today.
basically 10 hours shift. You said 80 hours, right?
10 holidays,
Right.
and we get
Okay,
paid
so-
8 hours per holiday. So I factored in 80 hours for each of them for overtime.
And that makes sense.
You got time to call him back. I ain't got time to call him.
That's put on there.
Getting back to this total, I've seen 927,174. Where's the 945?
As your total pay with the overtime pay.
9/27, I did, how much?
2688. That should be very close, and I do believe I rounded that number like. So it's a nice even number.
Second. Appreciate that. Well, it's 9/54. Well, 9/26, 9/27. Yeah, that's 9/54. I guess I'm just getting uncomfortable with some of these numbers. I'm not adding 2 and 2 and getting 4. I don't understand why.
Yeah, there's a lot of numbers.
There's a lot of numbers here that's not coming back. Here's why this is the county. If on your budget line item, you have a total of $140,500 for your deputies, you ought to have details for that. You
Break
agree?
that down for you, yeah.
Okay. But the number you gave me was wrong, 954.
I apologize, because you gotta understand, I work on these numbers.
Okay.
Probably a month and a half ago, I don't even remember, last time we met, I went back and we started working on the numbers. So I should have pulled them and double checked them and made sure I had that detail for you, and I will put into my spreadsheet all the details in the breakdown.
I appreciate that. I know sometimes I'm probably too picky on some of this, but
We
there's
all
no
look
background.
at things different.
No.
I said we all look at numbers and stuff differently, so it's different when you're working. with numbers.
So Mark and Billy, Tim, the bottom line is, we're gonna keep it as Judge and Jenny laid it out to the court.
Need a motion?
Yes.
I move that we keep it the same, 2847.
And I second that motion. Billy, I'm saying aye. Or is there any discussion? Gonna have a vote, I'm saying aye. Tim? Billy? Billy, what's your vote?
Give us a thumbs up.
Okay, you're on mute. Unmute yourself. What's your vote?
Yes.
Mark, okay, and Mark is,
Yes.
okay, so motion carries. So when we have our next court meeting, we've got to present that again. That's what we're gonna present, the one that we originally presented. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, second. All in favor, aye.